Hey everyone, and welcome to another FoundSpace webinar. What matters? A infrared sauna buyer's guide. Joining me today, my good friend and CEO of FoundSpace, Alex Tyson. Good to see you, mate.
Hey mate, how are you?
Really well. Really important webinar today. We've got lots of feedback about this. What are the things that our community needs to be looking at when making a purchasing decision? At the end, there'll be another exclusive FoundSpace offer. So put your details in the link and the team will be in touch. Let's jump into it.
Let's get into it.
Right. I thought touching base with, just quickly some of the, why we're here, why we do what we do, why we got into Hormetics in the first place is a good place to start. All right. Over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're here to talk about sauna and help more people understand what's involved in making a good sauna. But if we just take a step back, let's start with why we want a sauna in the first place. And that's how we got here as a company. We were founded in 2008, and we did that because we wanted to help people with their well-being. And saunas have become trendy recently, but the health benefits are quite remarkable. And one thing I often say is it almost sounds too good to be true, the health benefits for sauna. Because when you start reeling them off, it's like, it actually does a lot.
Yeah,
I think sometimes people actually think like, it sounds a bit too good to be true, so I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about it being a big piece of the wellness puzzle, right? Because there's so many multiple facets to heat stress and getting into the sauna that crosses so many bridges for us with our health journey, not only mental and body based, but making you just a bit more present in your day and with those around you.
Yeah.
So
we're going to share something on the screen right now. It's a great little resource, which is actually by Rhonda Patrick, acknowledging her. She's a great kind of scientist and researcher and
great communicator.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And we'll pull it up on the screen now. So what I've got here is she's got a great article which is all about sauna, right? She talks about the overview of sauna, and then she starts to talk about some of the benefits of sauna. And I'm just going to reel some of them off, right?
Sounds good.
Cardiovascular health. She talks about how sauna used regularly reduces the likelihood of dying from cardiovascular health by over 40%.
Yeah,
something crazy.
Yeah,
it's not insignificant just by getting hot a few times a week, right? Then she talks about the benefits on depression. She talks about the benefits on mental focus and attention span. She talks about how sauna helps activate and release human growth hormone in the body. She talks about how sauna helps with insulin resistance and glucose issues. She talks about detoxification from heavy metals. She also talks about some things to consider, like if you're pregnant and these sort of things. She talks about heat shock proteins, the activation of heat shock proteins. These are not insignificant things that sauna helps with, And so check out that article. You'll be able to see the URL on the screen. Go and have a look. Not only should she talk about those benefits, but she talks about and references the articles proving the efficacy of sauna for those things.
Yep.
If I reel it off to anyone, and as many of us may know, and some of us may only be thinking about one particular thing, sauna helps with heart health. We know that. Sauna helps reduce inflammation in the body, reduces C-reactive protein, which is a biomarker for inflammation, right? You sauna once, you reduce your levels of inflammation. That's a good deal. Right?
It's a great deal.
Yeah. Heat shock proteins. Heat shock proteins in the body help our cells, either senescent cells, kills off senescent cells, or it helps our cells rebuild and repair themselves. That's a good deal. Helps with mitochondrial function. That's a good deal. Literally from just sitting down and relaxing, right? It also, when we talk about infrared sauna, can really help down-regulate the nervous system. And in 2025 or any time in the 2020s that you might be watching this, we need more of that as a society, down regulation. Why did we rebrand to the name FoundSpace 5 years ago? Because it's all about space for you. You can give me all these physiological benefits, but I just need 30 minutes of peace.
Or an exhale moment, as I say.
An exhale moment, exactly, yeah. And then you're in there 30 minutes and it's just you, and maybe you meditate, or maybe you just listen to some ambient sounds on our control system and let the birds, calm you down. So down regulating the nervous system is huge. We then also, we'll talk more about this later, but we program into our sauna a sleep session. And a sleep session is red color light, using the red light from the heaters, using at the end of the day, turning the temperature down a little bit, down regulates the nervous system, prepares the body, says, hey, it's the end of the day, it's time to relax, time to start to release melatonin, because red is the last light that we see from the sun. Our brain's programmed to do that, right? So infrared sauna specifically can bring so many of these things. And then what happens is we can have a great sleep at the end of the day as well.
Yeah.
Then there's the recovery side of things, getting the circulation going, helping clear some of that lactic acid, helping rebuild muscle. Like there's a lot of facets to sauna. So we've really just touched the surface, but I would recommend going and look at that resource and you can learn for yourself. There's so many resources on sauna now, you know.
And this word longevity is used a lot now, which is great. And I think that's that's another part of what we're working with. We know from surveying, we surveyed thousands of our customers a few years ago, and it was so interesting, the data. The number one fear our community that weren't customers yet feared was the chronic illness and death of a loved one. And a close second was their own chronic illness, right? Which is why your previous points are so poignant, because yes, it's about like more presence today and down regulating your nervous system and having some more time for yourself, but also buying into the sense that we can all live a longer and healthier life, you know, if we take the time and invest in this type of equipment.
Yeah. I mean, in short, you increase your health span and you increase your lifespan by using sauna.
100%.
I mean, there was a study done in Finland. We'll move on from the health benefits, but there's a study
We're
done
going to talk about health benefits for now.
in Finland. And they showed that using sauna 4 or more times a week reduced the likelihood of dying from any form of disease by over 20%.
Yep.
Any form.
Yeah.
Regardless of lifestyle. Just by saunaing. Like, that's pretty remarkable. There's not much on the market in terms of supplements or other products that can provide that for you.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's jump into it. I'm really excited about this. Let's look specifically at what matters when you're going to invest in an infrared sauna to get these health benefits. I want to talk about hormesis just for a moment because it's going to come up a fair bit. We're going to talk about it, and particularly when the type of materials that you're investing in and who you're buying it off and how it's going to be looked after. It's all about protecting this window of hormesis. So just for a few moments, if you can just talk to, we're a hormetic technology company. If you can talk to what hormesis is and why it's really important to understand in simple terms sort of what it is as the webinar moves forward.
For sure. Absolutely. It underpins, like, why does sauna have so many benefits? Because it's a hormetic stress. Yep. So what is a hormetic stress by definition? It is a stress that in short doses has a net positive outcome on our physiology and on our bodily systems. Now, hormetic stress isn't just sauna. It could be cold plunge. It could be fasting. It could be exercise. These are all forms of hormetic stress. Right? Another way to think of it is if you did that ongoing forever, would you be able to survive? And you wouldn't, right? There has to be a short window.
Too stressful.
Correct. So that's what a hormetic stress is. Now, when we talk about hormesis in sauna land, what we're talking about specifically is an increase in our core body temperature from 0.8 to 1.2 degrees. Mm-hmm. When we achieve that, we're now in a state of hormesis, right? And our body is doing lots of different physiological things and lots of cascades of things are happening to keep us alive in that state. But that is actually the goal, right? So if I was to make my point here, we talk about this at Found Space, is that sauna cabin temperature doesn't matter, right? Your increase in core body temperature is what matters. And if you look into the literature, if you look in the biggest study done on sauna in Finland, if you look into other studies even on exercise, if you look into a lot of the literature in sauna, what you actually find is it is the increase in the core body temperature. It's actually written in the literature. That's what they need to achieve.
Right.
And when that's achieved, then these benefits happen. Right. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, it makes sense. So guys, like same as exercise, we warm up, we get into that window. You know, performance coaches will talk about sort of the working phase of a workout. That's that hormetic phase. Fasting, the gut gets into that hormetic phase.
Yep.
And that yields a net positive effect afterwards. Yeah?
Yep.
Great.
So that's what we're trying to achieve in sauna.
Sure.
And that's how we design our saunas, is to get us into that window as quickly as possible.
Great. So then that's an excellent segue into the first part of what matters when purchasing an infrared sauna. if there was one thing then that matters is what we call heat density, right? Heat density is critical to get the core body temperature up that you've just been talking about. So I'd love for you to dive now into why heat density matters, why we came up with this metric of heat density, how it keeps you in this hormetic window, and how do you know that the heat density is up? All right? That'd be great.
Great question. So what is heat density? Well, it is the amount of watts per internal space of the cabin. So we're in a room right now. If I put a heater in here, we could measure the heat density. It would be very low.
Yep.
Right. Now, why heat density is important is because it really talks to how hot the sauna is going to be and how much you're going to be heated up. If there is a low heat density figure, which is in our books anything below 700, it is going to take that sauna longer to transmit that heat into the body and therefore longer for the body to increase the core body temperature, which means longer to get into that hormetic window, which is 0.8 to 1.2 degrees increase in core body temperature. By having a higher heat density, we're able to transmit more heat into the body. I'm pointing at you here because you're getting heated today. And therefore your core body temperature increases quicker, which means you get into that hormetic window faster, right? So you could actually, in theory, be in the sauna for a shorter amount of time to get the same amount of outcomes.
And that matters.
It's the most important thing. Like at the end of the day, a sauna needs to get you hot, right? And we want to do that quickly. Dave Asprey talked about in a recent podcast such that when he looks into hormesis and he looks into stresses on the body, he wants to increase the gradient of the curve from where he is to that state of stress.
Right.
The quicker he can get there,
Up the curve,
the science is showing that the more benefits we experience.
So is it fair to say cabin heat and core heat are almost not two different things, but potentially the wrong sauna could have a cabin heat, but the core heat or body heat is not elevated enough to get you into that hormetic window?
Let me explain it like this. So if you have a sauna with low heat density, which many of the saunas white labeled out of China at the moment are fairly low heat density.
Sure.
It can get to a temperature of 70 degrees or whatever their max temp is. Let's say 65, right? It can get to 65. By having low heat density, it's going to take longer to get to 65, right? So your power bill's going up. And then when you get in, it's going to take longer for that heat to transfer in.
Gotcha. It shouldn't be hard for a sauna to do what it's meant to do, in other words.
Correct.
It's about efficiency.
Correct.
The better the sauna, the better the materials source to use, the more efficiently
the types of the heaters, where the heaters are, how many heaters there are in there, how all that combines to create an effective or an ineffective sauna experience. And you know, we were founded in 2008. I was involved then a little. I was only 15 at the time. It was a while ago.
Slave labor.
But I remember back in the early days, it was all about like, could the saunas get hot? If there was a draft, it was a problem because then air was getting in, the sauna was cooling down, the heat densities were low, all this kind of stuff. So when we came to designing our own saunas, it was like the number one most important thing, making sure that the heat density is really, really high, because at the end of the day, that's what we need to do in a sauna is increase our core body temperature. How can we do that really fast and keep our core body temperature high for the length of the session?
Great because it's an evidence-based approach to doing what a sauna should do, right? If you're going to invest in your health and work towards this longevity, then you want to know that it's going to actually do what it says it's going to do, particularly in infrared sauna because it's invisible light, right? You can't see it happening. I think it's a really important point.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Should we talk about Sensiotech for a minute?
Yeah, I took the words out of my mouth. We specifically decided to partner with a company, Havia, that provides us with the Sensiotech heater, which really elevates this heat density within particularly our Nuar range, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you could go straight to that, I think that'd be
so heat density, number one most important thing.
Yep.
Is there plenty of heat in the cabin? The second thing to look at is, let's talk about full spectrum because that's kind of where the industry is.
It is, yeah.
That's what people want. So full spectrum, just to quickly, is you receive the far infrared, the mid infrared, and the near infrared wavelength all at once. You also get some red light emitted from a full spectrum heater, whereas a kind of more old school far infrared heater is you just get the far infrared wavelength and not the rest. So full spectrum is kind of what many people want now. So we partnered with Harvia. They acquired a company years ago based out of Austria called Sensiotech. Why does this matter? Sensiotech developed a full spectrum heater, and they developed it in such a way that it emits, and we'll pull the graph up onto the screen comparing, it emits 3 times the amount of full spectrum light compared to the generic full spectrum heaters that are on the market.
And that matters.
Yes, it does. Now, let me tell you why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of obvious, really. I guess when you look at it, when you see them side by side, it's like, okay. But here's the thing. So what that means is, so let's take a benefit. One of the benefits of near infrared light is collagen production in the skin, right? I mean, who doesn't want collagen production in the skin, right? Like, it's a great benefit, right? That's why you see these big LED beds on the face, amazing. What that means is that 5 minutes in front of one of our heaters in the newer collection is equivalent to 15 minutes in front of any other kind of generic full spectrum. And I say any other generic full spectrum heater, it's really there's Sensiotech and then there's generic stuff out of China, right? So, I mean, that's huge. What that also means is because it's emitting 3 times the amount of light or the amount of heat or the amount of energy, it's all the same thing, we heat up more faster because we're receiving more light, right? So what that means is that is the next piece to increasing our core body temperature fast. Not only do we have lots of wattage in the cabin, we also have lots of light coming from those watts. Like we're kind of getting the squeeze from the lemon, right? You can get a 350 watt generic heater and a 350 watt Sensiotech heater and put your hands in front of it and immediately feel the difference.
And if one of our customers has 35 minutes and they want a sauna at 55 degrees, time matters.
Yeah.
Efficiency matters.
Yeah.
You don't want this mechanism to be happening in the body late.
Exactly. We want to get into hormesis quickly, right? And we want to maximize our time there, right? So if I'm sitting in a newer 2, I'm receiving 3 times the amount of light during that 30 minutes as I would in any other product on the market today. So that means I would have to sit in another product for 90 minutes, right? And we haven't even talked about heater placements or the amount of heaters,
we will.
Which also matters, right? So that's it's a massive difference.
Well, let's go there, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing I really wanted to do today was talk about the difference between like an engineering infrared sauna company and a business that purchases infrared saunas from overseas, brings them in, those type of products known as white labeled products. I think it's a really casing point and an interesting discussion because there is a clear difference. At FoundSpace, we're an engineering infrared sauna company and very proud of it. And it talks to the choice, the Sensiotech heater that we decided to work with, and the experience that we've had for the better part of 2 decades means that we've learnt proximity of heaters, how many heaters to use, who to partner with, because we know we want to take an evidence-based approach to getting people to get their core body temperature increased so they're in a window of hormesis so they get the health benefits. So when we put through through our socials and our website that we want people to ground the mind, have more movement in the body, detoxify, sleep better, improve cognitive function, then we have to lean in on experience and partner with people and build our saunas, engineer our saunas in a way that suits our market to get the health benefit, right? So this difference between a sort of white labeled product where they're purchasing it from a shelf effectively, like a Shopify product, and drop shipping it to a customer's door is sort of one way to do it, potentially with a low heat density, as you were saying. But we've specifically designed products that have a high heat density, and that all comes out of the fact that we're an engineering company and have been around for a long time. Yeah. Do you want to talk to that from your perspective, given you've been with the group since you were 15 or something? Yeah. And like why that's important, because it's a busy, like we did the other day. There was, we're about to launch, more saunas into the market this year, and we're looking at sort of different products. And I know when I first started with FoundSpace, I'd come out of, I knew saunas a fair bit. I came out of an allied health career, and I don't know, there would have been 2 or 3 sauna companies in Australia. I think over 30 now, if you keep counting. So I think this is a really important discussion.
Yeah. So let's talk about the market for a minute.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting, and I think there's a lot of business owners who'll be watching this.
Yeah.
So now sauna now in Australia, people kind of know they want one, right? And that's really only a very recent phenomenon in Australia. Right? In Finland, long time. In Australia, it's really since 2020, since COVID, that people are aware of sauna as a thing that I should have. And there's many reasons as to why this boom has happened over the last few years, which we don't really have time to go into. But what that means is that more people came into the market. And what it means is, why more people in the market? It's essentially very low barrier to entry to start selling saunas, right? Like, I've got 50 grand in the bank. I fly to China. I go to a few suppliers. I pick a unit. I put a logo on it. I bring in a container. I start up an Instagram account. I get some person on Fiverr to do me a few ads. I start posting them. What do you know? I'm a sauna company now. Does that mean that those saunas have been engineered for a good sauna experience? No. What it means is those saunas have been engineered as to how many can we fit on a container.
Yep.
Right? What's easy to install? How can we cut costs to keep our profit margins reasonable so this kind of business model is viable? Doesn't mean they've thought about the customer, right? And then they just go to marketing stuff, right? It's kind of easy. Same thing happened in cold plunge, for the record. And we're seeing a lot of cold plunge brands now struggle because they bought in subpar products that didn't work in the Australian conditions, which is a whole nother discussion, right? So what that means is that the vast majority of products on the market are white labeled products out of China, designed by Chinese people who aren't sauna users, to get things onto containers and get them into the market. It doesn't mean that they make good saunas, right? And so that's the market today. 95% of the industry, white labeled stuff. There are a couple brands out there, American brands, who designed great saunas years ago, right? Actually, a really long time ago. I'm surprised they haven't brought out some more products since then. But that's kind of the lay of the land. So if you're looking at a sauna online for $4,500, even up to $10,000, there is a very good chance that it's just been designed overseas and they haven't thought about or applied a sauna user's experience to make it better.
Right.
It is what it is.
So there's some clear questions that start to come up when looking to purchase an infrared sauna in Australia.
Yeah.
Does it come from a company that knows the product? So did they design it? Did they engineer it? Do they control their own manufacturing?
Yeah.
What's the heat density level? Like, ask the question, what's the heat density level? Maybe the metric's different, but show me how the core body temperature increases in the product that you're asking me to buy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is really, really important.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the company? We talk about our passion for hormetics and for hormesis. What is the purpose of the provider that you're getting it from? Right? All these things really, really matter.
Yeah. And then there's a few. So then coming back to our point earlier is, what are the things that actually you do tweak, or what are the things that we've designed into our products that a sauna user actually appreciates, that when you're looking at A, B, and C company online, you can't really tell the difference, right? So let's talk about a couple of those things. Coming back to heat density, right? Coming back to the reflectivity of the heaters. What is the quickest way to increase our core body temperature through an infrared heater? It is with an infrared heater placed behind the back.
So where you sit matters.
Where you sit matters, exactly. Now, why? Because when we're able to heat our spine, it's the quickest way to circulate warm blood to the rest of the body.
Gotcha.
Right? Which is the quickest way to increase our core body temperature.
Inside out.
Yep.
Joseph Pilates.
So placement matters, right? So not only, if we talk about our newer, for example, I have a full spectrum heater like right behind me. I have one to my side. I have one in front. Right? Now, if I'm in there by myself, I also then get the light from the next to me. Our heaters emit at 122 degrees, so I'm getting light from the heater on the back panel beside me, getting light from the side. And because they emit so much light, the light travels further and so on, right? So I'm completely surrounded. Even if I'm in there with someone next to me, I'm getting light on most of my body. That matters. Now, if you look at, say, there's a few infrared barrel saunas on the market, they've really just fit in heaters where they can fit them, right? It might not be actually where you want to sit.
Right.
But you kind of need to sit in front of the heater to get the benefit. Further to that, you don't want to sit too close to the heater, because if you're too close to the heater, it'll actually burn you. And so before you get burned, it just feels really hot and you sit away. And so you can never actually lean up against a backrest, right? There's a barrel on the market, infrared barrel on the market. There's exactly that. Or sometimes they're angled too far back and then your neck gets hot, but the base of your spine doesn't get hot. These are the things that you almost never know until you use it, right? But these are the things that we design in our products because we know that they matter. Because these are products you want to be using 4 or more times a week because of all the benefits that we spoke about earlier. You want to be comfy and you want to actually have experience that you like.
So you and the team specifically chose the type of heaters to use, put them in a specific position to ensure that there's a comfortable experience as well as an assurance that the core body temperature will come up 0.8 to 1.2 degrees.
Correct. And then you go the next step. So when we design Nua, when we design Nissa, we made all of our products wider. We allowed more space per person. Right. Now, it might not sound very interesting.
Well, I'm 6'3" and 100 kilos or something. So it's pretty,
right.
like, no, I'm serious. I've had infrared saunas for years and I've had 2 persons that aren't 2 persons. I've currently got a Found Space 2-person sauna and it's big.
Yeah. So here's the difference is like, if you have 10 centimeters more per person, what it means is that you and I sauna together and we're not touching each other. And that sounds great to me.
That matters to me.
Right? But that's important because most of the stuff out of China, designed in China, or even if it's out of Vietnam, designed in Vietnam, i.e. not designed by the people who are selling it.
Yeah, it's small.
They're small. And you get in there and you go, I wish I bought a bigger one, you know? And then really a three person is a 2-person size. And we used to sell those saunas. Like, don't get me wrong. We used to sell white label products back in the day. And that's how we know this. That's how we got here. That's how we learned what we learned to make a better sauna.
Yep.
So more space per person is also something that really matters.
Great.
Yeah.
I wanted to go there actually and probably start to finish on there. Like, part of the experience that you've had and I've had and we've all had in building out this company that designs and engineers its own product is we've been able to bring to market things that really makes sauna ownership possible over a long period of time, that keeps it running them efficiently and looking fantastic potentially 20 years later, right? And I really think that matters. Like, we have a very polished level of service at Found Space, but there's some real security for you there when you're making your purchasing decision. So I wanted to talk about aftermarket care, delivery, installation, and there's more to that than just what meets the eye.
Yeah.
And that can only really be provided, from a company that's been around for a while, has the arms, has the staff on board, understands why these things are important. And if we could move there, that'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, first things first is, before we even talk about the service, let's just talk about a bit of education. Like I spoke about earlier, using a sauna for sleep, very different settings to using a sauna to stimulate human growth hormone, right? Most of the public, most of the uneducated people who are buying sauna don't know that. So the first thing we do is we educate. Download our app, get into our education, learn how to customize your sauna sessions based on what you want to get out of it, right? If you don't want to do that, because not everyone wants to watch a few 5-minute videos, I get that. Not everyone has the time, to be honest. We've programmed it into our control system anyway. So you can just go in there and hit sleep session and it does it all for you, right? So that's the most important thing. And should you ever have a question about your sauna or you want to learn something, we do it better than anyone else. Let's be frank. Call the team, talk to whoever you spoke to, either the salesperson or the operations or customer care team, and they'll give you everything that you need. That's how the company started, by that being the number one most important thing.
Yeah.
Right, and that's always remained. So having that education right there at your fingertips when you need it to get the most out of this sauna is really important. Because here's the insight. You're going to fall in love with it. And if for whatever reason you're not getting something out of it during a period of time, you want to be able to resolve that because you love your sauna, or I bought it for sleep. It's not really working. How can I adjust it? We'll help you adjust your sessions so it'll help you for sleep because we have that experience. So that's the education side of thing, really important. And then let's talk about the service. Yeah, I mean, we deliver, install anywhere in Australia. We have the ability to do that, right? And our products aren't a kind of knock it together in 5-minute thing. And actually, no saunas on the market are. They take some time. And I find it remarkable that companies sell barrels for self-installation. Like, fair enough, if you want to spend a weekend building your barrel, great fun, get the family involved, super, super cool. Many people don't have the time to do that. And these products do take a bit of time to build. And our products now are complicated pieces of machinery. We developed a computer system that sits in the roof, which does all of this incredible stuff. But there's a lot of wiring and things involved to make these incredible saunas that we make.
So it matters and it's possible. You know, what's possible?
We'll come and we install the product and then there's a lot of, we take away all the rubbish and we recycle all of the rubbish, all that, things that people, again, aren't really thinking about. The sauna is a really interesting product because it kind of sits in between. It's not like I've just bought a barbecue, which is like a small thing with a bit of packaging, but it's not like I bought a car where I need to go and pick it up and receive that kind of delivery experience. It's somewhere in between.
Sure.
Is it a DIY? Am I building it myself? Should I be? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here that I haven't built before. I'm kind of building a room. So it kind of sits in between. And we just said, well, let's just do it for them.
Yeah.
And then we do it professionally every time.
Yeah, I've tried to relocate my sauna a few times and I've ended up using the Foundspace relocation team because it's not that easy.
Yeah, and then you don't need to worry about it, and you know that your sauna will be set up in the new location perfectly.
There's lots of little pieces there, isn't it? It's I guess it's almost like it's the end-to-end part of working with a sauna company like ours. There's so many bits in there. We can, now you can trade your sauna in with us. You can have your sauna refurbished with us. You can be confident that it's being installed by a proper sauna technician. There is a real human on the end of the phone when you want to ring and talk to us about, the education pieces that interest you.
Yeah.
And that, I think, in a purchasing decision, guys, that really matters. Is you put weight to what it's going to be like working with the company that is providing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important point.
Absolutely. You're going to have the product for many years. And if you look after it, you could have it for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing trade-ins now of people who bought saunas in 2012.
Yeah.
And they still work and now they're ready for the new technology.
Yeah.
Great. So that's the thing. And we can provide that if you want us to refurb it or so on, then we can do that and have your sauna looking great for a really long time.
Right. So guys, you've got a infrared sauna purchase decision to make. There are some really strong things you need to consider. What matters when making these decisions? Heat density really matters. Are you purchasing the sauna off a company that designs and engineers the products themselves? Do they have the aftermarket care value there to take care of not only your sauna but your customer experience and your customer journey? And are the materials that have been chosen and used within the engineering of the sauna working towards getting you up into this hormetic window to get the lovely downstream effects we're looking for of better sleep, better cognitive function, being more present in your day and living, a longer and healthier life? Guys, it's been great again to catch up in this forum. We've gone through really, as we say, what matters when making an informed choice. Click the link now, put your details in. There's an exclusive offer there for you now. The Foundspace team will be in touch. And we really look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Thanks again, Alex.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Cheers.